we are back with another recap. Round 4, I played against women grandmaster Mihaela Sandu. She is from Romania, and I actually played her last year in the same tournament. And that time I won, but I felt pretty lucky because I remembered that I was pretty lost. I was doing pretty poorly. And then I managed to win because she blundered big time. It was this really short game. But this time, it was different. This time, it was a very serious game for the longest time. So let's see how the game developed. Because this time I was playing with the black pieces, so that also makes it a bit different. She played e4, e6, d4, d5. She almost always plays e4, at least from what I could see, but she tends to do something different randomly. So I was just checking my lines pretty much in the French, and if something else would happen, then I mean, what can I do, you know? So d4, d5, knight e2, c5. I decided to go for the same line as my last French game because I thought, well, I had a good result. I double checked what I needed to do, even though I wasn't really sure about the situation there. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see. It felt like a pretty nice position in the other game. Knight gf3, and here I take on d4. This is the same as the previous French game, but here she took on d4 right away. Whereas in the other game there was e takes d5, and you just have the Tarrasch, and yeah, this is the main line pretty much of the Tarrasch. But here, she took on d4 with a knight right away. And it's funny because I actually did not check this line whatsoever. I did not expect her to go with this line. But I remember that I checked this in my preparation for this other game, you know, my last French game. So that's why I remembered the upcoming few moves. But at some point, I don't remember anything. So here, knight c6, bishop b5, bishop d7. This was all still in my mind. Knight takes, b takes, and bishop d3. And here I don't remember. I don't know anything. I just remember seeing this position and seeing that black is better. And I don't remember how to set up my pieces, where my pieces go. I mean, I didn't really focus on this line. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do here. But seems like my plan was good. Engine is happy with my plan. I was thinking for the longest time, am I afraid of moves like e5? Yes or no? So I think I am. I think I should be afraid of e5 and then followed by f4. I mean, afraid as in, it's a bit uncomfortable, but I wasn't sure exactly what my plan was here, but that's what I was going for. So I played bishop d6 because I wanted to stop e5. I mean, right now, if e5, I'm like, if I play something else allowing e5, I don't know. Especially after knight f6, she will play e5 and then goodbye knight. I have to go back. So that doesn't make any sense. So bishop d6, queen e2. She is obviously trying to play e5 here. So I played queen c7 and she played knight f3. And I was happy about that because if she plays e5 now, I mean, whatever I do. So after knight e7, if she plays e5, I mean, I was still unhappy with it because my bishop doesn't have a lot of squares available. But at least she doesn't have f4 immediately. But it seems like, I mean, Engine seems to be happy with White's position here. And I also didn't really like this. So when she played, instead she played short castle, when she played that, I was actually really happy because I was like, okay, so she didn't play e5. Now I have the opportunity to play e5. But then you start to think, is this any good? Is it worth it? How is the pawn structure? Is it benefiting me or my opponent? And I spent so much time deciding between whether it's better for me or for her. And I was also not sure if this was the right approach or something. I don't know. It was really hard for me to make decisions here. But eventually I figured e5 is a good move. And what made me even more want to do this move is that I'm actually threatening to play f5. And obviously f5, I mean, you want to get rid of this center pawn. It makes sense, right? But it has a better reason. I mean, you get rid of this one, and then you get to play e4, and that is a forky, baby fork. So, yeah, that looks really good, right? And after long thought here, she played knight h4. And I was like, okay, that does look like a terrible move, but I spent quite some time here figuring out what to do because, okay, so I spent quite some time thinking, should I play f5 right away? Am I in a hurry? Or should I play short castle? I was about to play short castle until I saw this move. g4. And I was like, yikes. I want to play f5, and after g4, that is never ever going to happen again. Engine is still favoring black here, which makes sense because g4 is such an odd move. It's exposing the king and everything. But how do I make use of this? I could not see anything here for me. My bishops are a bit stuck here. I mean, if white is never going to move this pawn, then what do I do in this position? I could not figure that out. So that's why I didn't play short castle. I really wanted to play it, but I saw g4 and I figured, okay, that's probably why she went for this line. So I need to do something now. And that's why I went for f5. The alternative, so if knight g6, I didn't like knight f5. Maybe it's... No, actually I think knight f5 simply. Knight f5. Okay, it seems like white is still worse, but I didn't like this because, yeah, after bishop takes, pawn takes, it feels unclear to me. I mean, this bishop is not great at all. I can play e4 and knight e7, but I don't like it. I don't know. It feels like white has a lot of activity. The position opens up a little bit, and with this pawn f5, I'm not sure. Ugh. Oh yeah, actually, that was the first move I was considering, yeah. I was considering knight g6. So as she played short castle, the first thought I had was, okay, I need to play move fast to not get into time trouble. So let's play knight g6. But then I was like, but if I play knight g6, yeah, so basically knight g6, and if pawn takes c4, I mean, everything is gonna be like, this is nonsense. Yeah, this was what I was thinking about, takes, and what I didn't like, I mean, okay, my position is good because I have a lot of activity, like my bishops can be really strong, but what I didn't like was that 2 versus 1. And that endgame, if it turns into an endgame, I might be worse because my pawn here not going anywhere. So yeah, that's why I went for the move e5 instead. I mean, I really wanted to play knight g6. I think in a blitz game I would do that definitely, but I took my time here because I was not sure that after knight g6 I still had this advantage. And yeah, my plan was to play f5 on the next move. So yeah, I played f5, and I thought so long for this move. I thought so long here, because here's the thing. I mean, I realized that after short castle g4, I didn't like my position. Even though, I mean, engine saying it's good, I didn't like it. And that's why I went for f5 immediately. And here is the problem. Well, I don't know if, I mean, maybe there's no problem here. So I played f5 for this reason, and she played f3, and I was like, come on. Come on. I spent so much time calculating e takes followed by queen h5 if I don't take back. I spent so much time, what if queen h5 right now? You know, all of those things. Apparently this is really bad. Okay, actually, I know, I mean, okay, you're just take on e4, obviously. I was calculating so many lines here because it looked a bit scary. She is creating some play. And then she just goes for f3. I was so disappointed because I feel like I spent 20 minutes on f5. She just went for f3. Yeah, of course, I mean, I was happy that she played f3. But I spent so much time on this. Like... for no reason. I could have saved like 20 minutes. You know how much that would have saved the game? Because, I mean, we have to see how the game developed, because I had trouble seeing what to do, how to continue and everything. But okay, let's have a look. So, yeah, let's quickly analyze e takes f5, because that is interesting. Yeah, short castle. I was going to play short castle, not take. That, I mean, I can't even take. And yeah, the next move is e4 and then take back, pretty much. And I also threatened to play bishop takes h2, so she pretty much has to play f3 to kind of make e4 look silly. Well, silly, I don't know about that. You know, it's not too bad, but yeah. Game continued like this. So she played f3, I played short castle, and then she played c4. And this is a bit annoying because she's putting a lot of pressure on this pawn, and I had a hard time figuring out what to do with my pawn structure. I wasn't sure what to do with it, because I mean, I'm very well aware that trading here will help my opponent, even though Enshin says it's one of the best moves. Maybe I need to play that like very accurately with the trade, but obviously if I take on c4, that's just bad, that I am aware of. But I wasn't sure if I take on e4 or if I push this pawn or push that pawn. I think pushing d4 is not good, because after e takes f5 there's like some diagonals opening up for this light squared bishop. So yeah, I went for the move f4, and I think I played that pretty quickly because I'm stopping any sort of knight f3 moves. So this knight is not going anywhere just yet. I figured this is nice, and also this bishop is not going anywhere, not able to access e3 either. So I figured maybe with some check, I have control of this diagonal, I could, you know, create some threats. She played queen c2, and I was surprised because I did not consider this move whatsoever. So yeah, she's basically setting up a threat across the diagonal. So she's threatening e takes d5. And she's also threatening to trap my bishop. So if I play g5, she'll play c5, and it will be a little bit difficult. I mean, Angela is still happy about my position because I'm winning a pawn, I guess. But I didn't like this sequence of moves. And I guess knight f5 is also a move. But yeah, I didn't like this c5 threat. So I played bishop c5 check. It's nice to have my bishop in this diagonal, and I'm stopping any sort of c pawn. She went king h1, which is, I mean, the logical move. And here I had a hard time figuring out what to do, because I know I'm better, once again, but I don't know what plan I should go for, because I'm seeing multiple things and I don't know what to choose and what is better, what is actually good, because yeah, I wasn't sure how to continue. Do I play g5? Do I play queen d6? I try to make arrows, but okay, it's not working. Do I play rook f6 or something? I couldn't really figure out what I want to do. Apparently d takes e4 is good, which I didn't play. Oh wow. I saw this idea, I mean, bishop takes, so I saw this idea where king g7, and after knight g6 there's bishop f5. I saw this idea, but with the move I played, so queen d6. So I think what went through my head, guys, is that in this line that I showed you, d takes e4, bishop takes e4, g5, bishop takes king g7, that there's knight g6, and there I thought, oh, okay, that sucks. I need to defend this square on g6. So that's why I thought of queen d6 at first. And then I calculated queen d6, and then in this line, I found bishop f5. Like, the line would go like this. So, for example, if takes, g5, bishop here, king here, and then knight g6, then there's bishop f5. And then I was like, oh, I'm happy. Well, actually, you can just take this knight. But yeah, somewhere I saw bishop f5 and I was happy. But what I didn't think about is to go back to this line after d takes e4 and then realize, yo, you have bishop f5 here. It's fine. So something went wrong. And I mean, I was playing on I had a few minutes here. That's why I'm saying I spent so much time on nothing. Because at this point I had like, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe less. Probably less. So I had to make my decisions really quickly and it was not fun. I mean, my instinct was saying that you're opening the bishop. Why would you do this? That was my instinct. So I had to calculate better. Alright, so bishop d2 is what she played after queen d6. And here I went for rook f6. Because I was hoping that maybe in my dreams I will be able to play rook h6, take on h2, and then queen h6 checkmate. That is the dream. Obviously, she's not allowing this, but yeah. It's the thought that counts, right? Anyways, she went for g4, and this really surprised me because remember how I was scared of g4 a few moves earlier? Here it just completely didn't cross my mind. And she played g4. So, seeing that she played g4 here, guys, I think she was going to play g4 if I wouldn't have played f5. I think she was going to play it. So, yeah, I was really, really sad when she played g4 because, I mean, now the knight can jump to f5 safely, and yeah, obviously taking here is not great because h takes g3 and my rook cannot go to the h file because of this bishop, and I feel like soon f4 will happen, and I mean, I'm still better, but I don't know for how long. I don't really trust myself here, so I felt the need to play g5 because yeah, I didn't really know what to do here. I did consider g6, which is one of the top moves by Engine. Okay, Engine is a bit undecided. Engine is switching around a lot. Rook h6, d takes e4. I mean, d takes e4 I really don't like, especially not here. Not here. Rook h6. Yeah, I didn't like rook h6 because of knight f5. And I felt like my attack is just dying down, and the g file will open so the rook can go to g1. So yeah, stuff like that. That's why I play g5 to stop any sort of g5 moves as well. And she played knight f5. And here I had this amazing opportunity with 1 minute or 2 minutes on the clock to decide, do I take with the bishop or the knight? And this is the worst ever because I was like, okay, if I take with the knight, I mean, the logical approach is you take with the bishop because it's a close position. But I'm also thinking that if I take with the bishop and the position opens, I have a huge problem because this knight, I couldn't see where this knight is going. I don't know where this friend is going because I don't really see any access points, you know? So bishop takes, pawn takes, and I cannot get to h4 ever. I don't see where this knight is going. I mean, I want to put my knight on d4, e3, but how am I going there? And I thought the position will open up anyways for those two bishops, especially this one. So I got really terrified. And if I take with a knight, I mean, that's the less logical move here because you got to keep your bishop here and it's a close position. But I couldn't deal with the fact that I was gonna do this to myself, you know? So I went for bishop takes, hoping that my knight can, you know, pull off a miracle here because I could not see where the knight is going. But I thought, positionally speaking, I should take with the bishop here. But okay, apparently both moves are fine. This one is slightly better. The bishop takes one. But yeah, I mean, it was so hard to make a decision. It was so hard. So yeah, she went for g takes f5. E takes f5, I mean, I don't know. G takes just looks better because you open up the g file. You could potentially put a rook there. And yeah, this g pawn is sort of a weakness, pretty much. So finally, after a million years, I saw, I think, this is the first time I genuinely considered d takes e4. And I mean, I went for it. But the other times that I was able to play d takes e4, I looked at it, I was like, yeah, bishop takes e4, yikes. But here, I considered it heavily, and I played it because bishop takes e4, and look at those pawns. They're horrible. And this bishop is almost a pawn. And this pawn is not going anywhere. And obviously after f takes e4, there's rook d8. And after rook f3, I mean, I'm attacking those two bishops over here, so you have to play rook f3, and then I have g4, and then, yeah, you're losing the bishop anyways. So this made me feel like playing this move, bishop takes e4, and here I'm playing all seconds already. Wonderful. And I played the move queen d7 because I want to attack this pawn over here and win it, actually. She played bishop c3, and oh, I hate myself so much. Oh, here I had 30 seconds or something. And those 30 seconds or 1 minute or something, I spent on calculating knight takes f5. I was so happy that I was seeing tactics with knight takes f5. But you know what stopped me? I believe I had 18 seconds on the clock. And what in my mind, so basically the line of knight takes f5 goes as follows. Bishop takes e5, knight to g3, pawn takes, rook h6. If king g2 is checkmate. If the queen covers, I mean, I take the queen. And I was so happy about this line. And you know why I didn't go for this? When I had 18 seconds, I thought, oh, after check, queen covers. And in my head, I was thinking about a queen check, meaning that queen h3 and the queen covers the h2's on h2. And I was like, oh, that means I don't have a checkmate. Okay, I'll play this then. I have no time. And then when I played the move that I played, I was like, wait, that's completely nonsense. I'm moving queen h3 when the king is on g2. The queen can't cover the check. I was so pissed at myself, and I started to think of ways that I have an excuse for. Like, this is why I didn't play knight. I mean, not an excuse, but more like to make me feel better about the fact that knight takes f5 is maybe not good. I shouldn't have played it anyways. But I couldn't. I mean, I didn't have time for it, so I just quickly moved on. But I was so upset when I saw that it's, you know, working. And that was the top engine move as well. I went for the move bishop d4 instead. And as soon as I played it, I looked at the board and I was like, oh, I just had the opportunity to play knight takes f5 and I didn't. Bishop takes d4 was played, e takes d4, and I started to calculate and I was like, no. My opponent played rook g1, h6, and I was seeing this. I was seeing h4, king f7, takes, wait, not even takes, queen h2. And how do you defend this? Because I was seeing that rook g8 is followed by takes, queen h5, and I was just crying inside. I was like, well, this is it, I guess. I was so sad here. Because where is my play? Where is this knight going? It's so bad. I mean, this bishop is not great either, but it's much worse. This knight is much worse than the bishop. Queen h2, rook g8. Yeah, I mean, okay, I was calculating this and, yeah, I got really sad. But she made me happy because she played rook a-d1 and I was like, yes! She's not going for h4. Yeah, so here I played the move rook b8. I wasn't sure what... I didn't know what to do. I had no idea. I was like, okay, if she's going for the h4 idea anyways, at least if I play rook b8, which I played, I am putting pressure on the pawn b2. Maybe that's useful at a later stage. I don't know. After the game, we had a small chat, and she was saying to me, yeah, if you would have played rook d8, I wasn't sure what to do because she wasn't seeing ideas. And I told her I was afraid of h4 and queen h2, and she said, yeah, but if king f7, then, you know, she couldn't see the follow-up. And I was like, I mean, I'm terrified of the position. I thought it was really scary for me, and more scary for me because I have a hard time seeing how I can put a piece on the h file, because after queen h2, yeah, rook g8, imagine that, takes, queen here, king here, I can't put a rook on the h file. I just can't. So her king is safe. And she can just take my pawn here, actually. What was I supposed to play here? Oh, I had to... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to take, actually. Yeah. I did consider taking. I did think about that. Yeah. Because on the next move, I'm probably able to take here. And if queen takes f4... do I just play... Oh, I just take. Okay. I just take. Then I'm consolidating. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's fine, but yeah, I guess, okay, apparently h takes g5 is better, and then queen h2, yeah, then queen h2. And the best move is rook takes f5. I mean, if that's the best move, yeah. Yeah, she said that she was scared of the position, so she didn't go for it, which makes sense. I mean, it is scary. You're pushing all the pawns on your king side pretty much. Your king is very exposed, but so is mine. And because of this queen here being so active, I was really terrified of the position. And yeah, I didn't know how I could ever move my pieces around. Yeah, that is true. After bishop takes, knight takes, I do have knight g3 threats, but how much is it? Because my pawn is hanging, like a lot of pawns are hanging. Like those pawns are very loose. All those pawns over here. So yeah, this is actually a loss, but I guess the idea is there, yeah. So I played the move rook b8 just to be sure that I can, you know, put pressure on something at some point. and also, I was thinking she might play b4, b5 at some point, so I'm also getting out of the pin. So I thought it was a useful move. She played queen d2, and I was actually happy that she was going to trade something here, even though it got really scary. But apparently I'm able to take on f5. Yeah, I did consider this, but I got scared. I did consider taking and allowing queen takes f4, because this pawn is really strong and this pawn f4 is not going anywhere anyways. But I got scared. Oh, my rook is actually hanging. Wait. Would I have seen during the game that my rook was hanging? I don't I don't know. I mean, rook takes b2 I guess is logical, but it looks so scary. Yeah, no, in time trouble I did not like this. I did not like this. My knight is pinned. I can't move the knight. Rook takes g5 at some point might be scary. I don't know. I wouldn't have. Probably, yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, I didn't like it. It looked too scary. It felt like the position was too loose or something. And her bishop would become active. I could write a book on like why I don't like this. I could write a book. So there's that. So I played king f7, kind of begging her to take on d4 and go to an endgame and have a more peaceful position. She took, takes. Rook takes b2, rook d7. I played king e8. Okay. Engine is saying king e8, king f8, they're both the same. Rook takes. Here I was considering knight takes f5, but I was seeing ghosts. I got really scared that the rook will come to d1. So after knight takes, rook d1 or rook e1, and I didn't like stuff going on here. I got too scared. Oh wow, I'm seeing the I did see knight e3, but I didn't like this because I don't have back rank checkmate. But apparently there's rook takes a2. I did miss this. I did see this line I briefly, but I didn't see rook takes a2 as an actual move. I was just terrified it's gonna be checks. His bishop is close. Ugh. I didn't like this position. Yeah, I played the move rook d6 to put my rook on the second rank because I was not having my position. So she played the move rook e1. The engine is saying f6 is a good try. And I actually did consider this, and I wasn't happy that if she would play this, then I probably have to take. Yeah. Yeah, because if rook d2 here, then she can take. Oh, apparently it takes king f8 and rook b1. Ooh. And she's gonna be able to run with the king to here. Yeah, looks like it. The king is able to escape. Ugh, that's so gross. So rook e1 is what she played. I was really happy with that because rook dd2, and I was not seeing how she can avoid my repetition, my perpetual. So bishop takes c6, king f8. She took here, and this is a draw. We agreed to a draw. And I was really happy with that because I could not stand my clock anymore. I wanted to run away from this game. So yeah, mixed feelings because I feel like I was pushing for the majority of the time. I was doing better, but at the end it got really scary. And I think this is a fair result. I just should have done better. It was really difficult.